was having some conversations coming on to the end of 2025 with some friends, and we were talking finances. And one of them said, "Girl, you need to get going with part two of the Kingdom Budgeting book that I would have written." And, having had similar conversations with other people during 2025, it really told me that there's a renewed interest, not necessarily in the book itself, but there's a need out there for handling personal finances. Not everything is about business. There's some people who just want to get it right at home, and that's okay, because that is part of the reason why I wrote that book, Kingdom Budgeting for Women. And even though I said for women, I always tell men, look, it includes you too. It includes the entire household. Because once the man, the woman, they work together, then the entire household, they come around. So I took up the book and I said, okay, let's see what's going on with this book, because I haven't promoted it. This is the first time I'm taking it up in a long time. Haven't promoted it in a while because I just live the principles. I'm telling you the absolute truth. So I'm just going to read a part. It says, so let's get back to the point of sacrificing. I want to hit home that you should never become so attached to a particular way of living and doing things that you cannot embrace the change that is essential for growth. That's profound. If this is you, maybe needing certain things like the latest brands would suggest a deeper issue for which you may need assistance. So this book holds true years after. I recognize that people, they need guidance, they need help. And it's not always that people don't want to do better. It's that sometimes having very limited resources, better seems so far-fetched. If that is you, maybe you need to get started with the first book, Kingdom Budgeting for Women. Everything that you would need for your household and handling your finances is in here. Doesn't matter what stage you are at. You could be at the very end of yourself where you feel like you have no hope, or you may want to learn a bit more about investments. Is all in here. But to my friend who asked about the part two, this is the part two. And when I say this is a part two, it is not a book you read per se, but this gets you going practically. Maybe I'll get to the part three very soon, but I want to talk about this. Because since I wrote this book, I wrote this. And this is the Kingdom Budgeting Diary. All of my books are available on Amazon. But what I found with this book, I use this every single month, every single year. I haven't stopped using it because it takes the principles in the first book and it puts it in a practical way for everyday usage. This book speaks about how you would plan your supermarket list. That seems so simple, right? No, it isn't. Because establishing routines for your daily living sets things in order. And before you know it, your finances start to look different. The way you carry yourself and handle yourself starts to look different. Imagine if every month you go into the supermarket and you just don't go willy-nilly. You go with a plan beforehand where everything is written down in this book, along with the prices and how much you may want to buy of a particular thing, how much money you expect to spend in all. And you do that every month. Then you recognize there's a lesser chance for you to overspend, thus saving money. And there's a lesser chance of you forgetting essential items. See, it is about putting little changes in place that will impact your life on a holistic level. Also in this book, you have the opportunity to write out your monthly finances. So even if you're paid weekly or bi-weekly, you can add up all that money and sort out how much money you are paid, how much money you're going to spend, and you put in, and it offers enough space to cover you for an entire year. So no excuses, right? No excuses for 2026. You get to plan out your finances so you just don't go spending wildly. especially with all the changes that are coming on board in the world today. You need to be more strategic. I need to be more strategic when it comes to my finances on a level for my family. So, if I could encourage you to get back to Kingdom Budgeting for Women, yes, the original book, but I want you to get this one. I want you to get this. Kingdom Budgeting Diary. It is available on Amazon. And let me tell you, it is life transformational. I'm not lying to you when I say to you, I use this book. I tell you the truth. I use this book. I write them out and then I get a new one for the next year and so on and so on. If you look here, my supermarket list, yeah, I use it. I use it. Trusted, tried, proven. So if you are looking to transform your finances for your household, for yourself, give these books a try. Question time. How organized are you? Rate from 1 to 10. 10 being super organized, 1 being poorly organized. How organized are you? Write it down. Answer that question. Because this question is going to tell you the level of work that you need to put in to get your finances back on track. And you might be saying, well, they was never on track. My finances have been never on track. Well, if your finances have been never on track, then you need to get more organized. The two go hand in hand. They're not separated, nothing like that. They go together. Kind of like a peanut butter and a jelly sandwich or something like that. Yeah, the two go together. So you need to be more organized. So if you recognize that you're a person who loves to live in the moment, see, that doesn't always work when it comes to money, unless you have, so much money, which I thank God for that for you. If you're like many of us, we still have some work to do before we get there, then you're going to need to be organized. You're going to have to pick when and where. You're going to have to pick how and how much. Organization is key. You're going to have to know when to hold and when to go. You're going to have to take some time to organize January and February and March all the way to December. As a matter of a fact, January is the time that you need to organize your entire year. Some people will say things like, well, the Lord is in control of the year. Of course he is, but he still requires us to show simple organizational skills. He still requires us to have things in place so that when he's ready to bless us, that it can surely land. So that's my question for you. How organized are you? And if you find that you're lower on the spectrum there, I want you to try to improve. Start with little things that you're going to keep your word. If you say something, that you do it. That you start writing down things rather than just thinking it. Start with those little things. And let's try to get ourselves a little higher. The more organized you are, the better able you are to handle your money and to meet the demands of being a good steward of your finances. How organized are you?